the Senate Committee on Retirement. I would ask Senator Al if she would open this meeting with a prayer.
I'm going to hand this off to Chuck because he has
Okay.
a lot more to be thankful for.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. What she's talking about, I think most of you know, is as of last night, I became a grandfather for the first time. So, Sharon Cooper has a new constituent in Marietta, so I'm helping her out all I can with her population numbers. But anyway, we can go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, for all you've done for us, how good you've been to us, and we pray that we could do things for your honor and your glory, and for the continued help to the state of Georgia and all its people, including my new grandson, that we could use your wisdom in all that we do. And we ask all this in your name. Amen.
That's exciting. Speaking of exciting human beings, we have two bills today by one of the most exciting human beings in the General Assembly. Not very familiar with him, but I've heard his name mentioned in the hallway. So everybody should have copies. The first piece of legislation, let me stay on track here. Chairman Mullis, if you'd come forward with, we'll be listening to Senate Bill 167 to begin with. And this is on decreased age of eligibility for retirement benefits appellate court judges.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To be in front of this exciting committee too. The members of this is part of the leadership of this body, and I'm just humbled to be before you.
We're known as the party committee. We're very exciting people. We discuss actuarial studies and fiscal notes and other exciting things in here.
Now, working with Mr. Griffin, I've learned a lot, and I appreciate his ability and his long service to this state too.
He does a great job, and hopefully he will be able to serve the state as long as our mascot Homer Bryson has. So
that's kind of funny. Mr. Chairman, I'm here to answer the tough questions, but let me bring the expert of this issue that will be there to answer the easy questions, our Supreme Court Justice, Judge Ellington. If he'd join me, I'd be grateful.
Absolutely, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're talking about 167?
Correct.
Okay.
Senate Bill wants a decreased age of eligibility for retirement benefits.
That's exactly basically what the bill does. And we can go into detail, though, if you prefer.
Well, I think the detail is simple.
The devil's in the detail, is that what you're saying?
Well, but the devil's in a slight change in this legislation, and if you just want to explain that, I would greatly appreciate it, or if Judge Ellington would.
Judge Ellington, again, I'll answer the tough questions.
Mr. Chairman, may it please the committee and Senator Husteller, I believe your grandson will be in the University of Georgia class of 2045. So we'll look forward to that going forward.
I graduated from there, and my daughter graduated from there in May, so we're continuing that.
Got you on schedule. Thank y'all for having a hearing today, and if I can help y'all answer some of these questions, I'll be glad to do so. This bill does one thing and one thing only. It does reduce the age for appellate court judges. That's our Court of Appeals and Supreme Court, from 65 down to 60. Why do we need this legislation, and why do we need this legislation now? Well, what happens was, historically, the way, and Blake can probably help y'all out, this was way before I came here, but the system that we've worked under, historically, maybe you were a district attorney, maybe you were a Superior Court judge, maybe you were a trial lawyer for a long period of time. You came up here to the Court of Appeals or Supreme Court, and we had this system where you were 65 years old, and that's been in place for many, many years. Unfortunately, that's not the world we live in now. The judges and justices of the Court of Appeals and Supreme Court, I'm the oldest person over there, and I have been for since Justice Benham left at the Supreme Court. And what happens is they come much earlier and much younger now when they get to the appellate courts. And so I think the most recent announcement that the governor's made is one of our judges will be on the Supreme Court, will be 35 coming on the Supreme Court. So we live in a different world now than what we used to. The Superior Court judges already can retire at 60. It's been that way for some time now. District attorneys can retire at 60. It's been that way for some years now. And so what this does is this brings this in line and updates our system so that we will be consistent with the other Superior Court judges and district attorneys. Now, this bill has a history. There was a study done, I think, all the way back when Governor Perdue was governor that started sort of the process that brings us here today. And this bill was introduced, I think, later in Governor Deal's term. It's been introduced several times. But it passed the House Retirement Committee, then it passed the House Rules, and it passed on the House floor by, I think, 157 to 12 or something. It was a big number. Came over to the Senate. It passed the Senate Retirement Committee. Ellis Black was chairman at that time. It passed, I think, with the help of Rules Chairman Mullis. It passed the House Rules Committee, and it got on the House floor, and they just didn't. I mean, the Senate floor, and they just didn't reach it on the last day. Now, as you know, as members of the Retirement Committee, to pass the retirement bill is sort of a two tracks that have to run at once. There's the bill track, and then there's the appropriations track. And so if you go talk to the appropriations folks, they say, well, go pass your bill. If you come in here, you say, well, go get your money. And so both tracks have to pass at the same time. And that bill was fully funded. Jack Hill was chairman of appropriations at the time. Terry England was chairman of appropriations in the House. And it was fully funded, and it just didn't get to it on the last day. And so I believe that was the last 2 years of Governor Deal's term. Then we come forward into Governor Kemp's administration, and what has happened is we've been dealing with COVID, and so now, as y'all know, it's a 2-year bill. You got to introduce it, it lays over, it gets to actuarial, it comes back, and here we are today. This bill does need funding. We're working with the appropriations folks. We hope we can get it fully funded, and be glad to answer any questions about that, but we do know that without the appropriation, it goes nowhere. So anyway, that's the history of the bill. It has passed the House one time and made it all the way to the Senate floor and fully funded, but didn't quite make it across the goal line. So what we're doing is asking for a favorable recommendation from this committee today, and I'll be glad to entertain any questions.
Judge, my first question is, and I think it kind of shows the scope of what we're looking at. How many individuals would this impact?
There's only 25 total over there, and actually what happens from the time we passed it last time to while we're here today, the fiscal note has increased slightly because we have gone now from 7 to 9 justices on the Supreme Court and from 12 to 15 judges on the Court of Appeals. And so there's 24 of us total altogether
Okay, thank you, John.
at
Also,
any one time.
Yeah,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Chairman. Also, the top date as far as age goes, of course, they're appointments for life, I guess, right?
No, every 6 years we have to run for re-election.
Oh, never mind. However, at age 75,
Yeah,
you
right.
don't receive benefits. anymore.
Mandatory retirement.
Yeah, so we're not like the federal guys. Not only do they have to run, but there's a limit of how long a judge can stay in this appellate and Supreme Court.
Right, and I think y'all in the group just picked up a judge of mine on the Court of Appeals side of Ben Land.
His brother Clay Land was my law school classmate. It's a great family, and I think Clay served in the Senate,
State Senate,
even
yeah.
with you.
Before
And,
me.
Yeah, and Clay's on the federal side now.
That is
and
correct.
And a good friend. Thank you, Your Honor. I have a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Chairman of the Rules Committee, thank you for bringing this good legislation to us. So I just want to be clear, this would be consistent with what Superior Court judges have and district attorneys have.
That is correct. It will bring it in line with them.
All right, and just for my edification, Justice Ellington, is there any additional benefit accrued if you decide not to retire? You know, how Social Security works, you can get it at 62, I think, and it's
No,
reduced.
that's not the way the appellate court system works.
So if you, is it going to incentivize people to retire at 60?
It could, and one of the things that at least one of the arguments has been is that it's not just this from 60 to 65. It's not the 5 years; it's the 5 years that it is. I think most of us have better health, better opportunities at an earlier age if you wanted to do something later in life.
But if I respect, a lot of times the older folks seem to have more wisdom, and they certainly have more institutional knowledge. So if you stay longer, your retirement doesn't get any better?
No, not once you have vested. We have been very fortunate, though, at the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court to at least have some judges. Senator Davenport and I share a friend in Judge Herb Phipps that he stayed till he was 75, had mandatory retirement, and now we've got Judge Phipps back working as a senior judge, and so we're still taking advantage of his wisdom. But so we're fortunate. I became the oldest member of the Supreme Court when Justice Benham retired several years ago.
You need my cane.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. And I will say this to the committee, as the will, if it were the will of the committee that these bills move out today, we could vote on them, they could move out, and it would be pending an updated actuarial study. So it would not be reported in the committee report, but that the bills could move pending an updated actuarial study. Spoken to the team over in audits, and so they and received advice from Blake if that is the will of the committee. Any more questions for Chairman Mullis or his witness related to Senate Bill 167? What number are you on? Senator Hickman.
Good to see you, sir.
Thank you.
Both of y'all. Just and I'm sorry, I apologize for getting here a little bit late, but how did the appellate court judges, maybe you get overlooked like this? I mean, when we have all the other judges at 60, how did they get overlooked?
Well, it gets back to the history that I was trying to explain earlier. Normally, you would come up here later in life, and it would take you that long to vest. And so, what's happened is we're trying to at least get it consistent now throughout the court system, and this bill does that. And we would ask your favorable passage.
I agree. Thank you, sir.
And Senator Hickman, I think to simplify it a little bit, appellate court judges don't become appellate court judges out of law school. A lot of them go and they serve periods of time as district attorneys, superior court judges, everywhere else, build up their wisdom, knowledge, and resume. And then in many of those positions are positions they have to actually go out and run for. And then when they build up the reputation and the resume of integrity and honesty that comes along with that, then comes the process where they're appointed by the governor. And so in Superior Court, 65 makes perfect sense. But in the appellate side, by the time they get there, their hair is more the color of mine than a law school student. And so, their careers are long and illustrious, but at that point, they age out fairly quickly. And so with the 35-year-olds coming in now, we're used to, under what I just explained, they would be in their 50s in some cases. They are it's no offense to any judge. We in law enforcement get to retire out at 55 because of the abuse the physical abuse we take for our careers. But it's just it's a tedious and exhausting position to be in. So that was the reason that they kind of got left to the side.
And also, you have the right hair color for a judgeship too. Just want to point that out.
Anything else from any other member? I don't see any lights. What's the will of the committee?
Make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Make a motion do pass from Senator Summers. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Senator Davenport. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Okay, it looks unanimous. Congratulations, Mr. Chairman. I'm not sure if this is your first bill that you've gotten passed out of committee, but if it is, I hope you feel good.
Well, let me also say this up front before we go to the next bill. if I can be of service to any of y'all in my little old committee, please let me know.
What committee is that, Mr. Chairman?
I can't remember.
Okay.
The Rules Committee.
It's the what committee?
Rules.
Oh, yeah, we follow the rules. Yeah, if you continue to do that well, I hope someday you'll be sitting in this chair.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Are you part of the retirement system?
I'm headed that way.
Yes, sir.
Quickly. Well, I mean, at McDonald's and Crystal, they always have me pull around to see if I get a discount or not.
Yeah.
And I get a discount.
He is a judge, just a different kind.
See, I admitted eating Crystals, okay?
I think that's called direct evidence. All right, now we're looking at Senate Bill 267, and
This is not correct, that is.
this is updates. Stand by. Yeah. We'll be reading off LC number 432333S. 2333S.
Don't have that.
Is that the one you have?
We
Mr.
don't
Chairman?
have the latest one, but that's okay. We can go from there. Thank you, and we are honored to be a part of the teachers' retirement bill too. Is that the one we're attaching to,
It's the,
or am I wrong?
it amends Chapter 23 of Title 47 of the OCGA relating to the Georgia Judicial Retirement System so as to provide for credible service to the Georgia Judicial Retirement System for a 1-for-2 basis for transfers of credible service from the appellate court judge's plan to the ERS. And we do have Jim and Kelly from ERS here also.
So we're attaching to that. Is that correct?
That's what I've read.
Okay,
Yes,
no,
sir.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
We're honored to have the teachers' retirement system helping us pass our bill.
It's the ERS, the Employee Retirement System.
Oh, that one too.
Yes, sir.
Or us helping them. So it's a great team right
Yeah.
now.
Any questions related to this legislation?
And also, Senator in the back, I didn't see him raise his hand until.
I'm sorry?
Senator Ramon.
What, Mike, you? Senator Summers.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, would you explain the attachment, why this bill's attached, and the first and second part of it, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Thank you.
Let me refer to my colleague. Would you tell us why?
Uh,
No, the reason we're attached here is just the code section works out for us, and that was part of the strategy we worked out in advance. And so it's all with everybody's kumbaya and on going together.
I think the primary purpose of this, and I think that when you and I first met and discussed this legislation, is this provides the opportunity for the fund transfer
Yes,
between the two plans,
right.
as an individual may choose to go from the judicial retirement system over to the employee retirement system. It establishes the process of doing
Right,
that. and-
Exactly.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I missed a couple of meetings in the time, and I apologize when we did that, but wasn't we talking about something about regarding change if you choose who you want to be on your beneficiary? Or whatever? Is that part of this same thing?
No,
don't
that
think so.
bill is based on the actuarial issues related to that. That is the old bill, this is the new bill. Yes, sir. No, you're right, yeah.
But I'll be
Mr.
glad to address.
Anything further, Mr. Chairman? What number?
I guess I'm a little bit confused too, because in the packet are some of these letters to you from the Department of Audits, and got
That's
the
on
teacher retirement stuff in there and so forth and so on. So I'm kind of confused myself.
Yeah, these were all sent out digital a few days ago. This is what you're looking at in your packet. This the thicker bill with the paperclip attached, possibly. SB 297, LC number 432279S is the original SB 267. That language has been removed by the author and Chairman Mullis, and the new language in LC 432333S is new Senate Bill 267. Thank you. Anything further from the committee? What is the will of the committee? Have a motion from Senator Summers do pass. Is there a second? Have a second from Senator Hickman. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. That looks unanimous. Thank you. If nobody has anything else, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Legislators, senators.